This is 8.1 part 3. The bar graph below shows the percentage of students who received each letter grade on their last English paper. The class contains 380 students. What number of students earned an A on their paper? Okay, so guys, the total class size, or the total sample, is 380 students. So I just wanted to point that out. That's total frequency, right? What number of students earned an A on their papers? Okay, so I'm looking at this first bar graph here, and the height of it is 10. Okay, so I know that 10 students got an A on their paper. But it asks us what percentage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this 10 students that got an A on their paper over the total sample size, which is 380. Now what you need to do is divide these two. So let me get out my calculator here, and we're going to do a little bit of division. Okay, just going to take me a second. Hopefully you have your calculator out and ready. I found mine. So 10 divided by 380, that equals 0.026. I'm going to round to the hundreds place. So I'm going to put 0.03, and now I have to change that decimal to percent. So I'm going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So 3% of the population earned an A on their paper in English. Okay, let's look at the next one. A sample of people who are asked how many pets they have. The bar graph below shows the number of adults who indicated each number of pets. How many adults were questioned? Okay, guys, so they're asking us for the total frequency. Remember, that equals the sample size. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each bar and add it up. So people who had 0 pets were 6, plus, now I look at the next one, someone who had 1 pet was 10, plus, now I move over to 2 pets, which is 14, that's the frequency of that, plus people who had 3 pets were 11, plus, now we move on to people who have 4 pets, which is 5. And then people who had 5 pets, the frequency of that is 2. Okay, now I've got to add this all up. So 6 and 10 is 16. 14 and 11 is 25. And then 5 and 2 is 7. Okay, so 16 and 25 will give me 41. And then I'm going to add 7 to that to get a grand total of 48. Now, you can double check me if you want. I'm going to double check myself really quickly by throwing this in the calculator. So 6 plus 10 plus 14 plus 11 plus 5 plus 2, and I got 48. What percentage of the adults questioned had 2 pets? So the number of adults that had 2 pets equals 14. So again, I'm going to put that over the total population, or the sample size, which is 48, and I'm going to divide this. So 14 divided by 48 gives me 0.291. I'm going to round to the hundreds place. So I see that there's a 1 that's smaller than 5, so I'll leave it alone. So 0.29. That is a decimal. I need to move it to a percent, 2 places to the right. So 29% of people owned 2 pets. All right, let's look at the next one. During one shift, the express lane clerk recorded how many times customers violated the 10 items or less rule for his lane. In particular, he recorded how many items over the limit each violator placed on the conveyor belt. This data is summarized in the histogram below. Note, the last class actually represents 7 or more items, not just 7. Okie dokie. So if we look at this, it says, what is the most frequent number of over-the-limit items for this data set? To find the most frequent, I'm looking for the highest histogram, which occurs right here, and that is 13. So 13 people had, and if I look here at the actual data points, we have 4.5 going to 5.5, so that's 5. 5 items over the limit. What is the frequency of the most frequent number of over the limits? Okay, so the frequency I just found to be 13. So that's how many people violated that. Okie dokie. That's actually the end of 8.1. Great job. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.